Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanantari Jamuna Tira Vanantari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanantari Jamuna Tira Vanantari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe. Jai Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe. Jai Prabhu Gaur Pimanandi. Dayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Radhikacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shilabhai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandibiti Founder Charya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jainitai Gaur Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Taksurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Ransakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed, they're practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda Sri
Nityananda
Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara
Advaita Gadadhar
Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare Hare
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Sarabhyai
Om
Namaha
Shurabhyai Namaha
Om Sarabhyai
Om
Namaha
Shurabhyai Namaha
Om Sarabhyai Namaha
Om Shurabhyai Namaha
Mukam Karoti Vasalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatripat Mahambande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Yatripat Mahambande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class. Continuing Canto 1, Chapter 9, entitled The Passing Away of Bhishmadev.
The great list of sages. The great list of sages.
Yes. Today we're fortunate we will get their association. I was just thinking how we should never feel alone.
Yeah.
I mean, we have such an abundance and such, everyone's looking for friends and well-wishers. We have a long list, and we're going to get a glimpse of that this morning. Yeah. I mean, that means when we become devotees, we become part of this actually ever-increasing family of Krishna's devotees. So we're never alone, and we can get inspiration from them. Yeah. Parvato
Parvato
Narado
Narado
Dhumyo
Bhumyo
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Badarayanaha
Badarayanaha
Brihadashvo
Bhadashva
Bharajvaja
Bharadvaja
Sashishyo
Sasisya
Renuka
Renuka
Sutaha
Sutaha
Vasista
Vasishtha
Indra Pramadas
Indra Pramada
Trito
Trito
Gritsa Samado
Vitsamada
Asitaha
Asitaha
Kakshivan
Kakshivan
Gautamo
Gautama
Atrish
Atrish
Cha
Cha
Kaushiko
Kaushika
Atha
Atha
Sudarshanaha
Sudarshanaha
Parvato Narado Dhamyo
Parvata Narada Dhamya
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Brihadasvo Baraj Vajaha
Vidadasva Varadvajaha
Shashishyo Renuka Sutaha
Vasishya Renuka Sutaha
Vasista Indra Pramadas
Vasishta Indra Pramadas
Trito Grit Samado Sitaha
Tritagrit Samadosita
Kakshivan Gautamotrischa
Kakshivan Gautamastrishya
Kaushikota Sudarsanaha
Kaushikatha Sudarshanaha
Parvato Narado Dhamyo
Parvata Narada Dhaumya
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Brihadasvo Bharadvaja
Brihadasva Bharadvaja
Sashishyo Renuka Sutaha
Sashishya Renuka Sutaha
Vasista Indra Pramadas
Vashishta Indra Pramadas
Trito Grit Samado Sitaha
Trito Gritsamado
Kakshiban Gautamo Trischa
Kakshivan Gautama Trisha
Kaushikota Sudarsanaha
Kaushikatha Sudarshana
Parvato Narado Dhamyo
Parvata Narada Dhaumya
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Brihadasvo Bharadvaja
Brihadasva Bharadvaja
Sashishyo Renuka Sutaha
Sasishya Renuka Sutaha
Vasista Indra Pramadas
Vashishta Indra Pramadas
Trito Grit Samado Sitaha
Trito Gritsamadositaha
Kakshivan Gautamo Trischa
Kakshivan Gautama Trisha
Kaushikota Sudarsanaha
Kaushikatha Sudarshanaha
Parvato Narado Domyo
Parvato Narada
Narada
Dhamyo
Bhagavan Badarayana
Bhagavan Badarayanaha
Bhadvashvo Bharadvaja
Bhadvasyo
Bharadvaja
Bharadvaja
Sashishyo Renuka Sutaha
Sashishyo Renuka Sutaha
Vasishta Indra Pramades
Vasista Indra Pramadas
Tito Grutta Madositaha
Trito Grit Samado Sitaha
Kakshivan Gautamo Titra
Kakshivan Gautamo Trischa
Kaushiko Ata Sudarshanaha
Kaushikatha Sudarshanaha
Parvataha
Parvataha
Parvata Muni Naradaha
Naradaha
Narada Muni
Naradmuni
Dhaumyaha
Dhaumyaha
Dhaumya
Dhaumya
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Incarnation of God
Incarnation of God
Badarayanaha
Badarayanaha
Vyasadeva
Vyasadeva
Brihadasvaha
Vyadasvaha
Brihadasva
Vyadasva
Bharadvajaha
Bharadvajaha
Bharadvaja
Bharadvaja
Sashishyaha
Shashishya
along with disciples
along with disciples
Renuka Sutaha
Renuka Sutaha
Parashurama
Parashurama
yeah Vashistaha
Vashishtaha
Vasista
Vashishta
Indra Pramadaha
Indra Pramadaha
Indra Pramada
Indra Pramada
Tritaha
Trita
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 Grit Samada
Vitsamada
Grit Samada Asitaha
Asitaha
Asita
Asita
Kakshivan
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 Gautamaha
Gautamaha
Gautama
Gautama
Atrihi
Atrihi
Atri
Atri
Cha
Cha
and
and
Kokshikaha
Kaushikaha
I'm sorry Koshikaha yeah
Kaushikaha
Koshika
Kaushika
Atha
Atha
as well as
as well as
Sudarshanaha
Sudarshanaha
Sudarshana Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sridham Prabhupada Ki Jai. All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Brihadasva, Bharadvaja, and Parashurama, and disciples Vasista, Indra Pramada, Srita, Gritsamada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, and Sudarshana were present. Kindly repeat after me. All the sages like Parvata Muni,
All the sages like Parvata Muni,
Narada,
Narada,
Dhaumya,
Dhaumya,
Vyasa,
Vyasa,
the incarnation of God,
the incarnation of God,
Brihadashva,
Priyadasva,
Bharadvaja,
Bharadvaja,
and Parashurama and disciples,
Parasam and disciples,
Vashishta,
Vashishta,
Indrapramada,
Indra Pramada,
Trita,
Trita,
Vritsamada,
Grisamada,
Asita,
Asita,
Kakshivan,
Kakshivan,
Gautama,
Gautama,
Atri,
Atri,
Kaushika,
Kaushika,
and Sudarshana
and Sudarshana
were present.
were present.
Report. Prabhupada is summarizing briefly something about all of these great personalities who were present when Grandfather Bhishmadev will be speaking. So, beginning with Parvata Muni. Parvata Muni is considered to be one of the oldest sages. He is almost always a constant companion of Narada Muni. They are also spacemen, competent to travel in the air without the help of any material vehicle. Parvata Muni is also a Devarshi, or a great sage amongst the demigods, like Narada. He was present along with Narada at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaj Janamejaya, son of Maharaj Parikshit. In this sacrifice, all the snakes of the world were to be killed. Parvata Muni and Narada Muni are called Gandharvas also because they can travel in the air singing the glories of the Lord. Since they can travel in the air, they observed Draupadi's Swayamvara ceremony, selection of her own husband, from the air. Like Narada Muni, Parvata Muni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of King Indra. As a Gandharva, sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kuvera, one of the important demigods. Both Narada and Parvata were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaj Srinjaya. Maharaj Srinjaya got the benediction of a son by Parvata Muni. We hear less about Parvata Muni, compared to Narada Muni, but there are many similarities, both being Gandharvas, both traveling in the air, transcendental spacemen. And now Narada Muni. Narada Muni is inevitably associated with the narrations of the Puranas. He is described in the Bhagavatam. In his previous life, he was the son of a maidservant, but by good association with your devotees, he became enlightened in devotional service, and in the next life, he became a perfect man, comparable with himself only. In the Mahabharata, his name is mentioned in many places. He is the principal Devarshi, or the chief amongst the demigods. He is a son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him the disciplic succession in the line of Brahma has been spread. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many celebrated devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures. And from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated. It's called Shiksha Parampara. Uh, and thus, the Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included, has spread all over the universe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this Madhva Sampradaya. Therefore, Brahmaji, Narada, Vyas, down to Madhva, Chaitanya, and the Goswamis, all belong to the same line of discipline. Narada ji has instructed many kings from time immemorial. In the Bhagavatam, we can see that he instructed Prahlad Maharaj while he was in the womb of his mother. And he instructed Vasudeva, father of Krishna, as well as Maharaj Yudhishthira. And we were discussing briefly yesterday how Narada Muni is of special importance to us uh, as Vaishnavas, mm, because he is very, very knowledgeable both in the science of bhakti and also the science of he has he is expert in the science of bhakti, also the science of varnashrama dharma. Yeah, so he's expert uh, in these two levels of dharma, which are, we could say, complementing one another. So he's um, very special in that way. Okay, Dhaumya, a great sage who practiced severe penances in Utkochaka Tirtha. Where is Utkochaka Tirtha? You're from India, you know.
That is when the chakra touched the earth, but I don't know where is it.
When the chakra touched the earth.
In Kurukshetra, near Kurukshetra, because it is mentioned here, pointed royal place of the Pandava things. So nearby Hastinapura.
Nearby Hastinapura. This is your speculation. We want references. um, so he was appointed royal priest of the Pandava kings. He acted as the priest in many religious functions of the Pandavas, samskara, and also each of the Pandavas was attended by him at the betrothal of Draupadi. He was present even during the exile of the Pandavas. Oh, so he followed the Pandavas. He was, yeah. And used to advise them in circumstances when they were perplexed. Yes, so that's why it's important to have learned brahmanas uh, who can, yes, because yeah, Pandavas, they are Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas have many uh, worldly duties, worldly responsibilities. They have to make decisions, sometimes very big decisions. Like one of the big decisions is to go to war or not to go to war, isn't it? so many other uh, decisions which sometimes is not so clear, and therefore they take shelter or they take guidance from brahmanas. So Dhumya, he was present even during the exile of the Pandavas and used to advise. Yes, okay. He instructed them how to live incognito for 1 year. That's not so easy to live for 1 year without anyone knowing where you are. And his instructions were strictly followed by the Pandavas during that time. His name is mentioned also when the general funeral ceremony was performed after the battle of Kurukshetra. Yeah. In the Hare Krishna. In the Anusasana Parva of Mahabharata, which is where Grandfather Bhishma Dev gives his many instructions, specifically section 127, verse 15 and 16. He gave religious instructions very elaborately to Maharaj Yudhishthira. mm, mm. Okay, so in the Anusasana Parva, it's not only Grandfather Bhishmadev speaking. This here, Dhamya also is giving instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was actually the right type of priest of a householder, for he could guide the Pandavas on the right path of religion. A priest is meant for guiding the householder progressively in the right path of asrama dharma. Asrama dharma. Mm. So there's varna dharma and asrama dharma. Varnashrama dharma. Or the occupational duty of a particular caste. See, we use the word caste. We don't want to start a whole discussion on this, but it's right here. There is practically no difference between the family priest and the spiritual master. Mm. Uh, the sages, saints, and brahmanas were especially meant for such functions. Domya. And the next is Badarayana. Badarayana, who is Vyasadeva. He is known as Krishna Dvaipayana, Satyavati Sutta, Parasharya, Parasharatmaja, Badarayana, Vedavyasa, etc. He has many names because he lived for a long time, so there were different activities connected with his names. He was the son of Mahamuni Parashara, yes, in the womb of Satyavati, prior to her betrothal with Maharaj Shantanu, the father of the great general grandfather Bhishmadeva, Mahabharata. He is a powerful incarnation of Narayana, and he broadcasts the Vedic wisdom to the world. As such, Vyasadeva is offered respects before one chants the Vedic literature, especially the Puranas. Shukadeva Goswami was his son, and rishis like Vaishampayana were his disciples of different branches of the Vedas. So he had a whole number of disciples who helped him to put in writing the Vedic knowledge. Mm. He is the author of the great epic Mahabharata and the great transcendental literature Bhagavatam. The Brahma Sutras, the Vedanta Sutras, or Badarayana Sutras were compiled by him. Among sages, he is the most respected author by dint of severe penances. When he wanted to record the great epic Mahabharata for the welfare of all people in the age of Kali, he was feeling the necessity of a powerful writer who could take up his dictation. By the order of Brahmaji, Sri Ganesh-ji took up the charge on the condition that Vyasadeva would not stop dictating for a moment.
You can
There's
see
some
like
nice.
still now there is a Vyasa Gruha and Ganesh Gruha on top of Mana village, means nearby Mana village.
Which village?
Mana village.
Mana village.
Mana is the border of that China border.
China border.
Yeah.
border. Yeah.
Lost village.
Last.
Last village.
Okay, yeah. Oh, last village of India
Yeah.
before going to China.
Yeah.
Oh, China border.
Well,
At Badrinath.
They have Badrinath temple.
Just it comes behind. I think just behind or side behind.
yes. The Mahabharata was thus compiled by the joint endeavor of Vyasa and Ganesha. It is said that because it's very difficult to, I don't know how long it, anyone know how long it took for Vyasadeva to write the Mahabharata? I mean, Mahabharata is quite long. So he was dictating, and
He
Ganesh
should not
ji
ask anything. While writing, he should not ask anything.
should not ask anything and should not stop.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is true, but I heard that sometimes Vyasadeva would give him something very difficult to translate, and he had to think about it. And this time he
Yeah.
would go and take prasadam or something. I don't know. Yeah. By the order of his mother Satyavati, who was later married to Maharaj Shantanu, and by the request of Bhishma Dev, the eldest son of Maharaj Shantanu by his first wife, the Ganges, he begot three brilliant sons. Uh, yeah, three brilliant sons whose names are Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. The Mahabharata was compiled by Vyasadeva after the battle of Kurukshetra and after the death of all the heroes of Mahabharata. It was first spoken in the royal assembly of Maharaj Janmajaya, the son of Maharaj Parikshit. How many verses in Mahabharata?
1 lakh.
1 lakh.
Out of that, 1800 are Bhagavatam and 700 are Bhagavad Gita. 18,000, sorry.
No.
18,000.
Bhagavatam is not in Mahabharata.
Different.
In the Mahabharata, there is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam is different, no? Yeah. Actually, both the Bhagavatam and Mahabharata are recited not only on the planet, they're recited in in the heavenly planets, and also there's different edition. Just like sometimes we have like you have two types of dictionary. What is called abridged edition, short. Then you have like full. So we have on this planet Bhagavatam is abridged edition. If you want to know more about Bhagavatam, where to go?
Heavenly planets.
No, you have to go to Goloka. Why you want to get stuck in heavenly planets?
Yes, Goloka is
Yes,
full of pastimes.
yes, because, yes. Okay, Brihadashva, an age who used to meet Yudhisthira Maharaj or Maharaj Yudhisthira now and then. First of all, he met Maharaj Yudhisthira at Kamyavan. Oh, you were in Kamyavan.
Not that common. Not that in common.
This sage narrated the history of Maharaj Nala. There is another Brihadashva who is the son of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Mahabharata Vanaparva 209-45. See, these are, now who reads Mahabharata? I mean, we don't read Mahabharata. I'm saying that previously many of these things were known because that was the main Mahabharata, Ramayana, were the regular uh, subject matters that were recited, that were heard. So these need to be reintroduced. Next is Bharadwaj. Bharadwaj. He is one of the 7 great rishis and was present at the time of the birth ceremony of Arjuna. The powerful rishi sometimes undertook severe penances on the shore of the Ganges, and his ashram is still celebrated at Prayagadham. It is learned that this rishi, while taking bath in the Ganges, happened to meet Britachi, one of the beautiful society girls of heaven, and thus he discharged semen, which was kept and preserved in an earthen pot, and from which Drona was born. So Dronacharya is the son of Bharadwaj Muni. Others say that Bharadwaj, the father of Drona, is a different person from Maharshi Bharadwaj. He was a great devotee of Brahma. Once he approached Dronacharya and requested him to stop the battle of Kurukshetra. Parashurama or Renu Kasuta. Parashurama. He is the son of Maharaj Jamag,
Maharshi.
Jamadagni.
Jamadagni.
Jamadagni, yes.
Maharshi Jamadagni.
Of Maharshi Jamadagni and Srimati Renuka. Renuka Sutta, therefore. And thus he is also known as Renuka Sutta. He is one of the powerful incarnations of God, and he killed the Kshatriya community as a whole 21 times. Prabhupada makes reference in one lecture in America when he is speaking about you Americans, you are descendants of, you're connected with some of the dynasties that fled India. That fled India, they went to Europe. Yeah. So Europe used to be having so many different kingdoms, so many kings, isn't it? We still have like King of England, Queen of England. So a few hundred years there was every monarchy. So because America was populated by people from Europe, so Prabhupada was making that connection. Yeah, but fallen Kshatriyas. With the blood of the Kshatriyas, he pleased the souls of his forefathers. Later on, he underwent severe penances in the Mahendra Parvata. After taking the whole earth from the Kshatriyas, he gave it in charity to Kashyapa Muni. Parashurama instructed the Dhanur Veda, or the science of fighting. Okay, that's why. The Dronacharya, because he happened to be a Brahmana. The coronation of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and he celebrated the function along with other. Parashurama is so old that he met both Rama and Krishna at different times. He fought with Rama, but he accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also praised Arjuna when he saw him with Krishna. When Bhishma refused to marry Amba, who wanted him to become her husband, Amba met Parashurama, and by her request only, he asked Bhishma Dev to accept her as his wife. Bhishma refused to obey his, although he was one of the spiritual masters. Uh, Bhishma refused to obey his order, although he was one of the spiritual masters of Bhishma Dev. Okay, yeah. Uh, he means Parashurama, yeah. Parashurama fought with Bhishma Dev when Bhishma neglected his warning. Both of them fought very severely, and at last Parashurama was pleased with Bhishma and gave him the benediction of becoming the greatest fighter in the world. Yeah. Vasistha, the great celebrated sage among the Brahmanas, well known as the Brahmarshi Vasistha Deva. He's a prominent figure in both the Ramayana and Mahabharata periods. He celebrated the coronation ceremony of the personality of Godhead, Sridham. He was present also on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He could approach all the higher and lower planets, and his name is also connected with the history of Hiranyakashipu. There was a great tension between him and Vishwamitra, who wanted his Kamadhenu. Some of these things going on between Kamadhenu, which is wish-fulfilling cow. Vasistha Muni refused to spare his Kamadhenu, and for this Vishwamitra killed his 100 sons. As a perfect Brahmana, he tolerated all the touts of Vishwamitra. Once he tried to commit suicide on account of Vishwamitra's torture, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. He jumped from a hill, but the stones on which he fell became a stack of cotton, and thus he was saved. He jumped into the ocean, but the waves washed him ashore. He jumped into the river, but the river also washed him ashore. Thus all his suicide attempts were unsuccessful. He is also one of the 7 rishis and husband of Arundhati, the famous star. Difficult to understand all these things. Indra Pramada, another celebrated rishi. Trita, one of the 3 sons of Prajapati and Gautama. Trita. He was the third son, yeah, Trita. And his other two brothers were known as Ekat and Dutta. It's an easy way to remember.
So here we can see that the Sanskrit numbering Ekat, Dvita, Trita.
Yeah.
Here, here, who wants to suicide? Vishwamitra, Vasishtha.
Huh?
Suicide wants to suicide. Who? Vishwamitra or Vasishtha?
Vasishtha.
Vasishtha.
Yeah, yeah. Because Vishwamitra was torturing him too much, disturbing him too much. Yeah, yeah. Ekat, Dvita. So this is the Sanskrit for
Yeah,
one.
Sanskrit.
Ekat,
Ekat money eight.
ek, ekat, ekat. So we're learning some Sanskrit. Ekat, Dvita, and Trita.
Ekat one.
1, 2, 3.
One.
All the brothers were great sages and strict followers of the principles of religion. By dint of severe penances, they were promoted to Brahmaloka, the planet where Brahmaji lives. Once Trita Muni fell into a well. I don't know how that happened. He was an organizing worker of many sacrifices, and as one of the great sages, he also came to show respect to Bhishmaji at his deathbed. He was one of the 7 sages in the Varuna Loka. He hailed from the Western countries. My God, he hailed from the Western countries of the world. I wonder which part of the Western country.
European. European countries here it is mentioned.
Is mentioned?
Yeah.
Okay, as such, most probably he belonged to the European countries. Yeah, because America was still uncovered, not discovered. At that time, the whole world was under one Vedic culture. Yeah. Grit Samada, one of the sages of the heavenly kingdom. He was close friend of Indra, the king of heaven, and was as great as Brihaspati. He used to visit the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira and also visited the place where Bhishma Dev breathed his last. Sometimes he explained the glories of Lord Shiva before Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was the son of Vittahavya, and he resembled in features the body of Indra. Sometimes the enemies of Indra mistook him to be Indra and arrested him. He was a great scholar in the Rig Veda, and thus he was highly respected by the Brahmana ceremony community. He lived a life of celibacy and was powerful in every respect. Asita. There was a king of the same name, but herein the Asita mentioned is the Asita Devala Rishi, a great powerful sage of the time. He explained to his father the 1,500,000 verses, or rather 1,500,000. Hey,
15 million.
15 lakh.
15 lakh, correct, 15 lakh. From the Mahabharata. He was one of the members of the snake sacrifices. He was one of the members in the snake sacrifice of Maharaj Janmajaya. He was also present during the coronation ceremony of Maharaj Yudhishthira, along with other great sages. He also gave Maharaj Yudhishthira instructions while he was on the Anjana hill. He was also one of the devotees of Lord Shiva. And just a few more great personalities here. Kakshivan, one of the sons of Gautama Muni and the father of the great sage Chanda Kaushika. He was one of the members of the parliament of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Then there is Atri. Atri Muni was a great Brahmana sage and was one of the mental sons of Brahmaji. Brahmaji was so powerful that simply by thinking of a son, he can have it. These sons are known as Manasaputras. Manasaputras. Out of 7 Manasaputras of Brahmaji, and out of 7 great Out of 7 Manasaputras of Brahmaji, and out of the 7 great Brahmana sages, Atri was one. In his family, the great Prachetas were also born. Atri Muni had 2 Kshatriya sons who became kings. King Artama is one of them. He is counted as one of the 21 Prajapatis. His wife's name was Anasuya, and he helped Maharaj Parikshit in his great sacrifices. Kaushika, one of the permanent rishi members of the in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira, sometimes met Lord Krishna. There are several other sages of the same name. And the last personality is Sudarshana. This wheel, which is accepted by the personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, as his personal weapon, is the most powerful weapon, greater than the Brahmastras or similar other disastrous weapons. In some of the Vedic literatures, it is said that Agni Dev, the fire god, presented this weapon to Lord Sri Krishna. But factually, this weapon is eternally carried by the Lord. Agni Dev presented this weapon to Krishna in the same way that Rukmini was given by Maharaj Rukma to the Lord. The Lord accepts such presentations from his devotees, even though such presentations are eternally his property. There is an elaborate description of this weapon in the Adiparva of the Mahabharata. Lord Sri Krishna used this weapon to kill Shishupal, a rival of the Lord. He also killed Salva by this weapon. And sometimes he wanted his friend Arjuna to use it to kill his enemies. Mahabharata, Virata Parva 56:3. So Sudarshan was also present. As a weapon or as a person?
As a person.
Person also weapon.
Person and weapon.
Looks like person.
Like
It's logical that it's person. Because why weapon? There is a function of weapon, so you want to hear.
Yes.
like Ganges, form of Gange and water.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, very good example.
yes, yes. Mother Ganga. Bhishma is son of Ganga
Yes.
by Shantanu. Yes. So this is a very, just a very brief summary or description. There's a lot of information, but that means that such kind of great personalities, some of them from this planet, some of them from heavenly planets also, because in previous ages, demigods would regularly interact actually with not everybody, but with some very exalted human beings. And in the Nectar of Devotion, in one section, it is mentioned how, because it's Kali Yuga, the demigods completely avoid our planet for good reasons, because there's no, because of so many sinful activities, etc.
could be a question why this person came. Out of respect, or they have him to get something from this assemble, because they are very wise, so they, they were not exactly invited. No one invited them because they just went to the Bhishmadev. So some of them was present in the court of Yudhishthira, so that's natural they come. But others,
Why they
what
came?
they get from this kind of, I mean, you see, persons have different level of consciousness of bhakti, but when they come together, there is kind of very special, wonderful things happen. So they share their happiness. Their bhakti means everyone becomes happy.
Yes. That is called sadhu sangha.
Yeah.
Uh,
You do not just give, they get also.
yes, yes, yes. Uh, well, in this case, they were hearing mostly from Grandfather Bhishmadev, but we also were reading that some of them also spoke to Yudhishthira Maharaj. I'm sure to congratulate him that now, it's like when someone is appointed to some new post, because he was about to assume or take up the responsibility, which is the most exalted position in the world, right? To become the emperor of the world. So, um, yeah. Sages, that is, people by nature like to assemble together. Of course, in the material world, generally it's for all kinds of material motivation. But those who are rishis, they want to learn, or they want to uh, become purified, or they just um, it's for not for selfish reason. They have some some higher purpose, and of course, one of the purposes was to simply uh, give their respects to Grandfather Bhishmadev, who was ending his life, a very long life of so many extraordinary activities that he performed, so many austerities, and yeah. And just like in ordinary life, also, generally, before someone passes away, isn't it? Um, Depending on the situation, but people write a will, or they will speak something. um, and generally, what people speak when they're about to leave their body is something that is most important, that is most sometimes very confidential. Uh, um, so naturally, different sages, different rishis, different kings, they wanted, similar to the disappearance of Parikshit Maharaj, they wanted to be present to pay their respects and also to hear and to learn um, from, and of course, Grandfather Bhishma Dev, as we know, he spoke extensively for uh, many days, if not many weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just remember that the grandfather of Bhakti Thakur,
The grandfather of
Bhakti Thakur,
Bhaktivinoda.
Bhakti Thakur, Srila Bhakti Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Bhakti.
The grandfather of Bhaktivinoda
Yeah,
Thakur.
he was a great Vaishnava
Okay.
and a yogi also.
Yogi.
So when Bhakti Thakur was 20 years old, he sent a letter to him that please come quickly.
In Orissa, I think, huh?
Yeah, because I very soon I will leave this world
Yes,
and I have very important message to you.
correct.
And then when they meet, Bhakti Thakur, so he had no health problem. He's strong like anything.
Yeah.
And he was a bit confused, but he told, no, it's okay. I have very limited time. So, and then he told that you become a great Vaishnava. I give you blessings. And then, in the age of 27, whatever you do in that year, that will be you all of your life. And what happened in 27? Bhakti Thakur formed the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita
Chaitanya.
and started to study. So the great Vaishnava forced him that very important.
Yes, yes. Yes,
And Bhakti Thakur changed his life by this
yes,
episode.
correct. Yes, nice example.
Like Prabhupada, what he chose is very important for us. Words of Prabhupada.
Yes.
Also, every words of Prabhupada is important.
Yeah, of course. Yes,
Still,
yes.
that is a kind of
Special. Yes,
so let's see.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise we are tend to take it like one of the other teachings. Oh, so many teachings are there. But to prepare our heart, to prepare our consciousness to receive and then get the maximum benefit,
Yes.
we need to prepare for ourselves. We need to get into it step by step. So we hear so many sages, the names just purifying us. We
Yes.
are wondering, oh, great sages. One of them is also you could really change the world. And then we see they are coming together, they assemble the Supreme Person, the great Pandavas, and the great sages,
Yes.
and that helps us to really go into it. So be present,
Yes.
wholeheartedly.
Yes. Yes.
Nice way to prepare for the listener, which is still, it's just the beginning of the great. So you're not necessarily used to listen like Parikshit Maharaj was ready to listen, but
Right.
we have to get into the same mood.
Yes. Okay.
And the other thing is that many times we are a little bit close to our land. But here we see that many sages have different part of different sampradayas, different schools, but they come together they listen together. They have no problem with each other.
Yes.
They not want to convince anyone else, but they are coming together and they share.
Yes.
So we also good to learn that respect and mood, how we work together, how we associate. When there are some differences,
Yes.
okay, that's the differences, but the culture is that we come together and we listen together.
Yes.
That's we have to learn, different assemblies of devotees.
Yeah. Gyana Samudra has a question or comment.
Here we read so many great devotees,
Yes.
so many great rishis.
Yes.
But why Lord Krishna says, amongst the rishis, I am Shukracharya.
Among the rishis, I am Sukracharya. Good question. There must be a reason why he mentions.
But Shukracharya is Guru of Daita dynasty.
Yes, yes, yes.
Daita who tortured rishis and other people, good people. King.
Krishna must have some good reason, which is which is obviously not obvious. Which is obviously not obvious. Action, is it? Action. Action day. Sukracharya, there must be something that is less known or understood. This is mentioned in
Bhagavad Gita.
in the Bhagavad Gita.
Which
It's,
I don't know his word, but Krishna one verse says, among the trees I am people. Amongst the king
yeah, correct.
I
Yeah.
am Indra.
Amongst the fish, I am the shark or whatever. Amongst the birds, I'm Garuda,
Yes, among the king I am Indra.
and the king. So why he would choose Indra? Because Indra is not always a good person.
Yes. We know Indra is good person, but sometimes a good person also can fall.
Yes. So then why would Krishna choose a person who's sometimes good and sometimes not good?
Indra is all time total.
No, not all the
good person.
time. Indra is not all the time.
But we know few of incidents him.
So not all the time is good. So not all the time is good. Yes.
In the purport, Bhishmadeva, Parshurama Sisya, Parshurama Guru, Bhishmadeva Sisya.
In the purport, Bhishmadeva.
Bhishmadeva is the disciple of Parshurama.
Bhishmadeva.
Is the disciple of Parshurama. He Guru tell to marry Amba.
Why is disobeying Guru?
Yeah, disobeying.
I don't find the Shukracharya's name in Bhagavad Gita.
Usana name in Bhagavad Gita.
Which verse?
I don't know. But I know
Why he disobeyed the Guru's order?
Because the great
Because-
sages I am.
Why the four Kumaras disobeyed their father?
I hearing something. So only this thing, brahmacharis, this
Yeah.
brahmachari life, disobey order.
Yes. Yes.
This is correct.
Yes, that is correct. You can not follow the order if you want to remain brahmachari.
Oh,
They think is like Krishna.
okay. No need to follow the Guru's order if you want to become a brahmachari.
Yes.
If you want to stick that ashrama.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 4 Kumaras, they refuse.
Narad Muni also refused for Kumara's request, but who Daksha Prajapati accept his father, but in future he got
Sukracharya. Did you find?
Yeah, is the so the logic is that Krishna is distributing his power, his Aishwarya power, and is showing that his power appears in a person like Shukracharya who becomes the guru of the demons. So it's not necessarily the bhakti power appearing, but the thinking power.
The
Yeah,
thinking
he's
power.
very much
He's really
Scholar.
extremely
politician.
Right.
Like we can say
Yes,
politician.
extremely
Like we can say
intelligent,
politician.
or far-seeing politician. That's what is given by Srila Prabhupada. So this power of being like,
In other words, whatever Krishna says, there is some reason. So we have to find out.
yes, we don't know, but
Right. So,
I
yeah.
am Meru Sikara.
Huh?
Krishna. Meru Parvata. I am the Meru Parvata.
The mode of passion is kicking in right now. So before the bricks on which we're sitting become removed, I think we should end our class. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki